Hello everyone, my name is Armine Ohanjanyan. I'm a Cambridge Advanced C1 exam instructor. I've been teaching for this exam for already 3 years, and during these 3 years, I've gained a lot of insights into preparing for this exam. And in this video, I would like to talk about what the exam tests and how to prepare for it. Well, first of all, what does this exam test? What do examiners require? Cambridge Advanced Exam is a C1 level exam that assumes that you have already had a lot of exposure to English. You have not only studied some course books, but you have had a lot of exposure to English. Watching videos, reading books, reading different articles, reading in all kinds of genres. And you have had a lot of listening exposure, watched videos, listened to podcasts, listened to audiobooks. You have also spoken to people in English a lot. You've done a lot of it. So this is especially reflected in the first part of the reading paper, where you have to choose between four words that have a similar meaning, but their area of usage is different, is totally different. For example, support and prop up. We know that beams support roofs, and pieces of paper, they prop up the leg of a table. So nuances like this are tested there, and such tiny nuances are barely possible to cover, and it's barely possible to cover these tiny nuances in one course book, in one course. Therefore, a lot of exposure is a must. And what else? Speaking part two. Yeah, speaking part two. When you look at the photos, you're asked some abstract questions. For example, what might the person feel, or how is the person there? Quite an abstract one, but it requires a lot of imagination, a lot of freedom of thought to come up with answers. And how to develop imagination? Of course, by reading, by listening to different things, novels especially, by flexing your imagination, flexing your creative potential. Yeah, and course books, again, are far not enough. Okay, now how to prepare for the exam? Let's imagine your level is B2, yeah, mid B2 or strong B2. So there are two ways. You can take a C1 preparation course book. You can prepare for it and take the exam in, let's say, 7 or 8 months. But where will this lead to? Well, first of all, getting a high grade, let's say B or C grade, or getting a high grade B or A, requires certain amount of efforts and certain amount of time. And you can cover this, you can put in these efforts, and you can cover this preparation time by either course books, exam materials, or by simply upgrading your English in a more relaxed manner by reading books, by studying different general English books, and so on. Either way, certain amount of effort will lead you to a certain result. Let's say your level is like mid B2 or strong B2, and you take a Cambridge exam book. There are so many books out there, complete or compact or objective, advanced, whatever. You take a course book and you start preparing with it. You have some language input. some lessons that help upgrade your English. For example, there are some grammar lessons, there are some vocabulary lessons. They teach you some, nuances. And okay, so what? So you have to cover this vocabulary exercises, vocabulary sections or grammar sections. You have done a couple of exercises, and that's pretty much about it. And then you have exam practice. You have a real exam practice. You have exam tasks, for example, exam reading task, and you are asked to do the reading task. Wow. The only guidance that you have for this task is just some tiny, minuscule, hints of what to pay attention to. Just something that you could do without, really, in my opinion. So those hints and those supplementary tasks in exam books are not enough, in my opinion. They are far not enough. And then you stumble upon unfamiliar words, you get stuck, you have to look them up in a dictionary, or the teacher gives you the words, you have to learn them beforehand and read the text, and you still feel that there are some phrasings that you do not understand, and then you get disappointed. You can continue with this. You can continue covering a course book, Cambridge Advanced course book. By the end of the course book, you will be well familiar with the exam format, but how yeah, and you can also cover a grammar book, a vocabulary book, or maybe read a couple of articles in the meantime. But how far can you advance? Well, there's no one answer, but if you put in a lot of effort, if you prepare for an exam on a daily basis, if you take an additional course book and prepare for it prepare with it apart from the Cambridge exam C1 exam book, then you will get there. But this will be really intensive. You will achieve a high grade, but this will be a really intensive. If you take it easy on the preparation and you read articles every once in a while, you do the homework and you just cover this course book and expect that your grade will be high, then I'm afraid I will just disappoint you, because if you are starting with B2 level, you are covering a Cambridge Advanced book, hoping that you will get a B or A, and this is barely likely to happen. C is guaranteed, but B or A, no. So what is the right way, in my opinion? What is the right way of preparing for the exam? If your level is B2, mid B2, or strong B2, then I highly recommend taking a really comprehensive general English book. General English book that is aimed at leveling up your English. If your English is like B2, take a course book that is B2 C1. If it's more on the C1 side, on the strong B2 side, then take a C1 course book. The course book that I take I particularly like is Solutions. Solutions is a wonderful book, but it is dense in vocabulary, grammar, and different reading strategies and whatnot, and also the texts are really engaging, really interesting and engaging. The only minus for those who are preparing by themselves is that it's barely possible to cultivate and to cultivate all the materials on your own, because it's too time consuming. And also when you have a list of words, like you have a big list of words and just a couple of scanned exercises, of course the exercises do not give you enough practice. You have to do your own research, you have to dig in dictionaries, and you have to do a lot of self work. What I do is I create additional exercises, additional explanations for the usages of words. For example, if it's a vocabulary lesson, and I create additional exercises that help you um, help students practice the words thoroughly. So take a comprehensive course book, study it. In the meantime, read interesting articles, watch videos, read books. How can you find articles? Let's say you take a topic, yeah, you take a you're covering reading or listening unit in a course book, and then you become curious about the topic. What you do is you go to YouTube, you find a short video on that topic, you watch that video, take notes, and try to retell it. In this case, you broaden your knowledge about a certain topic. If you're preparing on your own, you can find study buddies. There are so many people, so many language learners out there who are looking for study buddies. You can just practice with them. Or if you are practicing with me, then you will have all these materials prepared beforehand, so that when we cover a topic, an article, I give you a video and I ask you to watch the video, take some notes, and prepare for a discussion in the next lesson. So in this way, you upgrade your English in an engaging, in a more relaxed manner. So you upgrade your overall English level, and you feel that you are already confident about yourself, confident in your language skills. And then it will be, then I think it's high time to take an exam trainer book, not a Cambridge exam book, course book, but an exam trainer. There's a big difference, because exam trainers, they are more thorough. They give you a lot of details on how to prepare for each part of the exam. They give you hints, they give you some preparation, some exercises for preparation, and then they ask you to do the exam task. And they also give you some useful language for each exam part. So exam trainer, so once again, general English course book plus additional materials, plus, and after that, once you are done with the course, the general English course, you take an exam trainer book and you cover it page by page really thoroughly. And after the exam trainer book, well, what are exam trainers, by the way? In exam trainers, you have six exam papers, which means that you will have only six exam practice, six times exam practice. This means that this is, of course, not enough. This means that once you are done with an exam trainer, you need to take a test book, simply a test book, a booklet that only has tests and nothing except for tests. And you do the test according to the exam format, doing the test time-based, and you will see that you feel more confident and more ready to go to the exam. So that's it. These were my insights. Write in your comments what you think about the overall preparation course, and what would you like me to talk about in my next video. So thank you for your attention. Bye bye.